I do, let me tell you about Stamps.com. So here's the thing. We're all busy these days. I've always been bothered when Batman Media skips over Jason Todd. That's right. We're too busy. We've got too much going on. So something that feels like a small little errand can really become a big hassle. Something like going to the post office. With everything else you got going on in your life, it's just you don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time to quote Aristotle. And we're all looking for areas where we can kind of streamline things and make things easier for us to free up some precious time. And that's why you need Stamps.com, one of the most popular time-saving tools for small businesses. Stamps.com eliminates trips to the post office, and it saves you money with discounts that you can't even get at the post office. I think that's the best part. Stamps.com basically brings the post office to your computer, and this is a huge benefit no matter if you're a small office sending invoices, if you're an online seller shipping out products, whatever it is. Even if you're just an average Joe like me, whatever your postal needs happen to be, Stamps.com can handle that. Here's how it works. You just use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you can do it. Once your mail is ready, you just hand it to your mail carrier. You drop it in the mailbox, whatever, and it doesn't get much simpler than that. And simple is the key. Simple is my favorite thing. I didn't mention the best part in my view, or I want to expand on it a little bit. That's the money that you save. With Stamps.com, you get 5 cents off every first-class stamp and up to 40% off priority mail. So Stamps.com is just a no-brainer, saving you time and money. And it's no wonder, it's not a mystery, why 700,000 small businesses already use Stamps.com. It's 700,000 small businesses use this, so you know that it works. So pay attention to this part. This is the important part. Right now, my listeners get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitments. You just have to go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Walsh. That's Stamps.com, enter Walsh. Stamps.com, enter Walsh. Save time, save money.
And good evening on what is a perfect night for football. The floodlights shining down on the players as we speak. I'm Derek Ray, and sitting alongside me, ready to provide tactical analysis, is Sue Smith. And what we have on the menu for you is this foot squad.
My 2-year-old son has a routine at night that he's grown really attached to and accustomed to. And the routine is that my wife will bring him into his room and read him a story.
It's Striker Juniors versus the Hurricanes.
I can't wait for this one today. The atmosphere is buzzing, and I'm hoping the football...
that individual attention from each of us. You know, that's what his routine is. Any parent with a young kid, you know, they get a certain routine, especially at night.
Oh, it's a Korean guy who plays for Wolves.
And here's the Striker Juniors starting lineup. Mateo Kovacic plays alongside Daichi Kamada in central midfield. And in attack, Ollie Watkins starts alongside Hwang Hee-chan.
Even if I was with him, so I know I'm still asking.
Deciding to go inside.
Because I think it's good to try and teach kids how to answer a simple question like that. How to remember things sequentially.
And to look at the starting 11 for the Hurricanes.
Well, it looks like they'll also start with a 4-4-2, and that does put the emphasis on individual performances, particularly in those key midfield areas. I think that's where it's going to be won today.
Down they forge ahead. Here he goes. He scored on his debut, and his fans are loving that.
Some story. And it's always a story that definitely did not actually occur.
Promising move this from Hurricanes.
So,
might be a chance here. Still alive. Oh, staring at an open goal. He has contrived to
miss. Or they'll say that he went to Nana's house, or they'll just make up some story. And sometimes they'll even expand on the story. They'll say Nana's house.
Nice looking pass.
Nana's house. Tricks like ice cream Nana's house.
Well, that's how to keep the opposition at bay. And making his move inside.
But then if we actually go with, like, if we just went to the zoo.
Not messing around with that clearance.
That's what boys do today. If you won't say you went to the zoo, they'll come up with some other thing. And why is that? Well, because
determined defending.
Kids, when they're 2 years old, right,
they can't distinguish.
It's a neat move. And defensive play to be applauded.
Was the reality
That was top draw, wasn't
from
it?
what actually is.
And he has options available.
So for him, when you ask him what did you do, what did you wish?
Oh, could be an opportunity here.
Like to have?
That is tackling of the highest order.
Tell me a story like that. He can't tell. That's how he hears it. He can't tell the difference between those things. So a child at this age, literally psychologically, cannot distinguish desire from reality.
Kamada.
And that's one of the reasons why the 2-year-old kid has temper tantrums where they ask for something and you don't give it to them right away, and they just have a total meltdown because they really don't understand why it is. You know, when it comes in and asks for some juice, and you say, "Well, juice," or wait a minute,
can he put it away? Oh, there it is! It's a brace on his debut, and it's hard to do much better than that.
He just asked for it. So why isn't there? He really doesn't understand. And so there's this, so everything goes haywire in his brain, and then he melts down, freaks out. This is also why with kids,
and teammates
kids,
around him,
they'll say something that isn't true, but you can't say it's a lie. So
as he makes it a hat-trick, and no wonder he's off celebrating.
Breaks, milk spills everywhere, and then you say to them,
Mateo Kovacic.
And they say no. If the kid is 3 years old, 2 or 3 years old, that's not a lie.
Daichi
In the
Kamada.
child's mind, he wishes that he had not knocked it. And so when he says, I didn't knock
And the Hurricanes unable to hang on to it.
Thing. Because he wishes he hadn't done that, it means that he
cuts in from the flank. It's looking promising.
So as
and that'll roll through to the keeper. The attack just fizzling out in the end.
And it's very endearing and pretty hilarious when a child is 2 or 3. But as I've noticed
Mateo Kovacic.
In my kids, I can't help but notice how so many
such an ambitious run
today also do the same thing. And it's kind of scary when you're a parent and you see the way little children behave. It gives you such an insight into how adults
and massive credit for the
especially
save.
these
It was
days.
splendid, but was not the best option.
It was a good strike in the end, but I do think he had better options.
But it seems to me that a lot of adults
So the whistle then, we're at the halfway stage in this match.
I should know better. And then you say, you might argue back, well, that can't happen. It would be a disaster. The government can't just do that.
And the ball is rolling again after what was a fantastic first 45 from Hurricanes.
To forgive your student loans, what you're saying is the government should take money from people who did not take out those loans
in
and
off the
use
flank.
it to pay off the loans that you took
And
out.
he's tipped it out, fully stretched,
It doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't be fair. It would be economically disastrous. It just can't happen.
A disappointing effort,
It's crazy.
making the keeper's life a bit too easy.
People advocate this. They have no argument in reply. They have no reason. It's just, I want it to be this way, so it should. So you'll notice that their reasons
De Jong. He's in behind.
why
And it
should forgive student loans.
Such a
I want it. It's like a kid.
Never have anything to do with feasibility or economics, or even really justice or anything like that. It's just their reasons all have to do with how it would benefit
Here's
them
Kovacic.
personally.
Yeah, it's like a kid.
And so you're trying to argue with them about, you're trying to talk about the issue on sort of a
Good
grander
run
scale.
and good ball control.
All they want to talk
reading
about
of the
is,
situation.
well,
Possibilities
yeah,
for them to
but
counter.
I'm having trouble paying my rent because of my student loans. So
De Jong.
And you say, yeah,
brilliantly timed
so
tackle
what?
when it really mattered.
What do you mean,
Yeah,
so
good
what?
endeavour there, wasn't
This
it?
is a problem in my life, and so it should just be solved. Socialism is gaining popularity, especially in the younger generations, on this same basis of people
Making us
just
move inside.
never, their mentality
And
never
very nicely
developed
positioned to win it back.
the age of 2 or 3.
Oh, useful ball.
There are people who
Chance.
want socialism
A
to
goal! Will really
insist
be
that it
spoiled.
will,
This is attacking
because
football
they're
at its finest.
not able to distinguish between what they want and what actually is.
Here's Kovacic.
So they say we need to have socialism. Can you point out that
Strongly,
all of these
decisively.
socialist systems throughout the last 100 or so years have resulted in calamity and death on an astronomical scale? You tell them to read the Gulag Archipelago. You tell them to read about Venezuela. Look at
Well, the
North Korea.
Hurricanes come
You
away
give
with
all
it.
this evidence, but it doesn't matter.
available.
They want socialism to bring about a utopia, so it will. The fact that it never has before doesn't matter. The fact that it has resulted in tragedy and travesty and death doesn't matter.
They've given him too much space.
The fact that we can look at all of these other countries and see real examples and see how horrifying they are doesn't matter. None of that matters.
Opportunity here.
You can show them pictures of the socialist red lines, and that doesn't matter. In their minds, all they're thinking is
delivering it.
But,
was it a great clearance?
I want it to be different, and so it will be. I think the Green New Deal is the most prominent and striking example of this. Have you ever tried speaking to a true believer in the Green New Deal? You tried talking to them about it, getting their reasons for why? When you try to explain to them, no, it's just not possible. You can't abolish air travel and retrofit every single building in the country. Provide everyone.
Took a really smart piece of defending to stop them.
You just can't do that. It's just the money doesn't exist for it. It would
10 minutes to go
to
then.
even try would be a disaster. But there's this disconnect because all they're thinking is, yeah, but how great would it be?
She's certainly not alone.
If it did work, and because it would be great if it did work, then it will work.
De Jong.
So the only remaining question is how is it that so many adults have made it to adulthood without developing the ability to distinguish?
So two substitutes to come on in one go.
And I really have no groundbreaking answer
to
that. I think that this is just what happens when kids are never told no, never disciplined, never given any boundaries, never taught to cope with disappointment.
Referee had a good view of that one.
If you raise a kid like that,
and Foudy intercepting.
They will likely
good vision from Foudy. And just has to remain calm.
As a parent, I'm really not sure which I would prefer.
It's one goal after another, and it speaks to the quality of that performance.
If I can look at my 2 or 3-year-old child,
and they have possession again,
and see
the electronic board showing 1 additional minute.
Comparison between him and
there it is, the full-time whistle here, and it's a victory for the...
If it's very cute right now at 2 or 3, but if I never teach him how to actually cope with reality, then that's where it's going to end up. All right. So, switching gears here. Last night, there was an utterly horrifying, though compelling, and I think important documentary that aired. The first part of it aired on HBO. It's called Leaving Neverland, and it's about Michael Jackson's monstrous abuse of 2 young boys. 2 young boys who are now adult men named Wade Robson and James Safechuck. Jackson was accused by 5 boys in total, and this documentary focuses on 2 of them. And it tells the story about how Michael Jackson would find these kids, groom them, endear himself to their families, kind of set the stage for what comes next, and then he would make his move. And the sexual abuse, when it began, was, of course, just... and it was described in graphic detail in the documentary, but it was, as you would expect, revolting, vile, evil. I mean, just nightmare-inducing. Now, but I'll tell you, as I was watching this, for me, the most shocking aspect of the documentary, aside from the graphic details of the abuse itself, but the most surprising thing to me, as someone who was, I was a young kid myself when Jackson was really at the height of his fame, so I never really paid attention to. I didn't really pay attention to Michael Jackson. I never listened to his music. I didn't really care about him. And the whole thing, when I was a kid, I just wasn't paying attention to it. So as I'm watching the documentary, it really surprised me to see how Jackson was constantly draped all over young boys on camera, constantly, all the time. They've got just reams of footage of this guy walking around with holding hands. He's got his arm around all these random young boys. He groomed these kids in public for the whole world to see. And he would have one male companion who went with him everywhere. It wasn't just like the kid showed up at a charity event with him one time. It was like they would have one kid who was with him for like a year, everywhere. They'd be on private planes together. They would go to all the shows together. They would always be together. And holding hands, having their arms around each other, and it would be like that for a year, and then the boy would be replaced by another boy who looked strikingly similar, but often was younger. And this was the process. It would unfold in public for everyone to see. That Michael Jackson would always have a new companion, was always a young boy. They always looked similar. He never had an adult companion, that as far as anyone could tell, and it was never a girl. He would never. So this idea, he just loved kids. He was a kid himself. He liked hanging out. Yeah, well, why was? But so what is? He never had little girls around him, though. Have you noticed that? It was always little boys. Always little boys around the same age. Everything's the same. So I look at that now, and it wasn't all that long ago, but I think it's hard. I can't even imagine now a world-famous pop star who is known to always have young male friends flanking him. It's just, but this wasn't all that long ago. This was what was happening in public. And that's the thing here. Jackson's deranged, cultish, idiotic defenders, and these people really are just disgusting. Honestly, they are. The people that defend Michael Jackson. These people, I have so much disdain for them. But they'll leap to the pedophile's defense, and they'll say, "Oh, nothing was proven. He was found innocent in court." Okay, first of all, I've heard that over the weekend. I've been talking about this on Twitter a little bit. I've heard that phrase so many times. He was proven innocent. No, do you know anything about how the justice system works in this country? He was not proven innocent. That's not what
conditions
happens.
Really couldn't be any better here tonight. A very warm welcome to you on this fine evening. I'm Guy Mowbray, and I'm joined by Steve Smith for commentary. And with the atmosphere building up nicely, what a match.
Just because a world-famous,
this promises to be.
It's mega-wealthy pop star with an army of top lawyers managed to secure an acquittal rather than be convicted based on accusations from powerless, nameless kids. That does not mean he's actually innocent. Okay, just because a rich and famous person can buy an acquittal for themselves, that does not mean that they're actually innocent. So we can use our brains here, which the jury did not do in his, whatever it was, 2005.
Well, this is a bad take from
the jury
that.
didn't use their brains. But we can use our brains, and we can see the truth, plain as day. So, this is the point. Even if you think it's possible,
here's Jeff, and they take on the Hurricanes.
Well, both managers will be reminding the players that it's important to get off to a quick start, really attack the opposition and put them on the back foot from the off. Hopefully we'll get a good game.
People are falsely accused. I've said that many times, and there have been recent examples of people being falsely accused.
And we haven't had to wait long for the opening goal. It's 1-0.
Over the course of a decade.
1-0 then as we get started again.
Accusing people of abuse and telling the same kind of story of abuse with all the same gory details, but the chances that you're innocent are just extremely well.
This could be threatening. That's really well cut out.
I'm trying to think of an example of a person who's accused 5 times
real
of child
opportunity.
molestation.
This scored again. The game had only just restarted after the last one.
But even if you ignore the fact that he paid off, at least one of his accusers.
There's space to attack here for Hurricanes.
We can still convict him in the court of public opinion based on the.
This is kind of a bad take from Matt. I mean, he hasn't looked in. Usually, he has good takes like abortion, very good takes on that. But like when it comes to other things, kind of really bad. Because like he didn't pay off his abuser. He settled out of court. Settling out of court in no way, shape, or form means you're guilty. I don't think he's even looked at the court cases. Yeah, you do realize, like, the first person was something Chandler in the first case. Now the Wade Robson won. The other guy, well, that's another time, another story. But you do realize the first kid who accused him, his father basically told him to do that to get money, and there's literally a recording of him saying this.
Oh, that looked like a great opportunity.
This was settled out of court, which does not in any way, shape, or form. Settling out of court does not mean someone's guilty, by the way. Now, I do agree that's a blunder from people, but mind you, the burden of proof is on the prosecution. Now, obviously, obviously O.J. Simpson, right, Casey Anthony, not every single person who's been acquitted of every single crime, obviously, but at the same time, not every single person who's been convicted has been guilty.
That has stopped any potential danger. To make your mark in game 1, a debut goal.
Well, if we watch this again, it's all about the run. You've got to question the defending, but I don't want to take anything away from a superb individual goal.
So the lead now 4-0 as the game restarts.
But now let's say like a 5-month fee. Actually, like say that women are born with their gut.
Him every reductio possible, and he just kept saying, I don't care, it's just a couple sales.
That's just a concession on the basis of being an irrational interlocutor. They can't justify their beliefs and provide any sort of actual argument to the conclusion.
I know, but several people told him that, and he still didn't care, and he still just sat up here and just kept going viciously circular, everything Misty tried to say to the dude.
It's just a troglodyte or a bad faith rage baiter, perhaps.
He was very calm. He was.
I know, but maybe he was trolling, regardless of whether he was calm or not.
He was trying to get us to like crash.
Exactly. Yes. That's very common these days. I mean, it's not necessarily true. It just could be.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm trying to control my crash outs.
It's not good.
Leading the way for the team.
So you're kind of fine. You kind of mock. I'm not gonna lie.
What do you mean, mock?
Like you outperform, you outshine people. Like you're aesthetically pleasing.
Debate-wise?
No, I'm saying like attractiveness-wise, you kind of mock. Like you look good. Are
you saying M-O-G or M-O-D?
M-O-G.
M-O-G, yeah, I've heard that before, but I never knew exactly what.
Well, you can see the pace on the break is scary, really difficult to stop. And once he's in, it's all about the finish. No messing around, just blast it past the keeper.
Thank you.
So emphatic, what a hit.
Well, it didn't matter how many. Oh, we got somebody up here now.
This guy's got a lot of back muscles.
The whole pro-life community. The only reason why I showed people myself was because they had these vicious rumors that I was fat and ugly. Oh God! I was like so devastated and hurt that I actually cried about it. And I'm not fat and ugly at all. I do Pilates like 4 times a week.
There's a part of me that's fat.
Yeah, I wonder what part.
Very specific.
Yeah, there's a part of me that's fat too. My ass. Well, we got this fella. What are we supposed to call you, sir? This looks like underscore. So,
you can refer to me as him, Timothy, either or.
Just daddy.
it's this time.
There's the restart. Off we go again.
He's just not telling.
Well, what's your age, sir?
I am 2 backwards.
Getting closer. All lost and the chance gone.
I'm 62 backwards.
Off the ball there.
26. Okay. All right. Are you pro-choice, sir?
Yeah, I'm pro-choice.
Well, tell us
This
why.
doesn't happen often, so it's extra
Yeah.
special when it does. It's a debut hat-trick.
So, I just take a functionalist view of the matter.
A functionless view? What do you mean by a functionless?
Yeah. Bro,
In the final third there.
I don't actually, that's fine.
Why? That was the wrong question to ask.
That one's
No,
going to come.
like, bro,
Making a
there,
change
there's
here.
show, bro. Fine. How does functionalism lead you to a pro-choice conclusion?
That's one player beaten.
Yeah, so
Decent chance this.
there's going to be a couple
For the attackers to feed
of
on.
reasons.
Hold on to the ball well.
So, I guess for me, it's how personhood obtains.
Oh, that's
Right.
really nice.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
And a wonderful piece of goalkeeping.
Hold
Well,
on.
I just thought it was a goal.
Is he serious?
1v1, but the keeper just brilliant.
So I'm just gonna
Narrows the
say
angle
I
and
can give you the
shows
points,
great
so it's just
reactions to
money
save
here,
that.
but I just want to say something like
Well, it was looking good, but ultimately
I
nothing
don't
doing.
take it
Turning the defence around.
that
Just
personhood
needs the composure now.
is probably
Oh, this is
described the same way
getting
maybe you
unbelievable.
describe
It is
it.
an
Take
absolute
it that an
classic.
entity first has to be capable of instantiating mental states. So I think it has to either have something like sentience, right? Things like interest and have self-awareness. And I can just give you a medical example for why this is the case. And I can also explicate on those as well, so that I can demonstrate to you why they aren't, why those aren't reductios.
And this is clearly showing. So one, that's not a directly valid argument for the pro-choice conclusion. Two, there's no argument that's been presented in favor of functionalism being true. Three, you have to give another argument presupposing that one, moral consideration is specifically indexable to personhood, and two, that the Lockean personal identity thesis is correct, because you just basically outlined Lockean personal
Now this
identity.
could lead to something. Played in there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
So
goal.
I would
It
just
was
index
really
to
nicely finished.
well, it would have to be to something like a semantic, I guess.
No.
Well, okay. Here's why though, right? So, I guess it depends, like,
Ball one, well read.
you believe that a person is
Vivian,
just like human, like DNA,
we're
and
inside the final
you
quarter of an hour
could
now.
take it, right, presumably, right,
They've
that's
been
something
given a
like
free
a
kick for that.
skin cell in a petri dish. They could be also like
Dude, answered all
Now,
about.
that could be a
Yeah,
chance
I know
to
he's
counter.
strong. Yeah, so we jumped from functionalism to personal identity basis to now
Now, this has
human
to be.
ontology, in which case, mind you guys, it's like represented what we take a person to be. So, he's just doing his thing, man.
I'll say this. So I'll just start off by, I guess, admitting that I take the view that first is the functional problem. Let's just start there. If you want, and then I'll tell you why I think that this is the case.
Yeah.
So I think that it specifically relates to what system is doing, right? So a system would process information, right? It might have certain experiences. It might also have like feelings or something like that, right? So you might ask me like what it's actually made of, right? So I would just say that
the end is in sight. What are your thoughts on the performance we've seen here?
Well,
I was going to say, bro, like, one, there's no valid argument, deductive valid argument that's been given for functionalism being true. Two, we went from functionalism to personal identity. And then you kind of implicitly index moral consideration to personal identity, which you presuppose the correct personal identity thesis is Lockean, which you have to give an argument for. You have to give two arguments, actually. And then from there, we kind of went to ontology, which is the nature of being. And if we go into the nature of being, you're kind of also, it seems to be that you're assuming that the nature of being only pertains to animate entities, as if inanimate things don't have teloses.
yeah, that's what it is. It's what it is. Like the paper, it's supposed to be like a really robust argument or whatever, paper, like pro-choice, whatever. But it just talks about like the functionalism of like moral status, whatever. So it goes into like, well, I guess kind of what I outlined earlier. And then it talks about like functional roles, whatever, within a cognitive system. And then
Within a what?
Within a cognitive system.
Oh, okay, within a cognitive system. Okay.
Yeah. It's saying. By the way, I'll just tell you real quick, because I don't want to waste you guys' time or anything. Because
Too late for that.
Oh, good. He's a good guy.
Yeah, no, when I'm just investigating these, like, I think they're absolute, like, dog shit, but it's interesting to, like, read these to someone that actually knows, a serendipity knows all this stuff. It's interesting. It wants to say, well, that's actually supposed to be P1, by the way. Like, I guess it doesn't really formally, well, the formal syllogism is something like, to possess moral patiency, personhood, an entity X must be capable of substantiating mental states. And then I place that down. It says that these states are defined entirely by the functional rules within a cognitive system, not by the mere presence of a specific biological substance. So it isn't just going to be like human DNA or something arbitrary. And then it says that, so then it says P2, which is just a substrate requirement, which says that instantiation of functional mental states requires a minimally developed constituted type or architecture.
Well, we have a few problems. One, which inference rule are you using here? And then two, there's going to need to be a sub-argument for premise one and the subsequent premise, assuming that you're not using modus ponens or modus tollens. I'm not trying to, like, bust your balls here. I'm just saying, if you're throwing out this stuff, I'm going to constrict it, right?
I mean, okay, from what I can see, it just seems to be like modens or modus ponens. It seems to be like we're just saying here that.
Well, what's premise two? Well, if you're affirming the antecedent, then premise two, you only need to say just affirms the antecedent. That's just modus ponens. It's just the method of affirming by affirming. You just affirm by affirming.
That's what I'm trying to see here, though, because it kind of looks stupid. B2 just says the instantiation of functional mental state requires a minimally developed constitutive architecture, specifically functional thalamocortical connectivity.
Oh, no. He's getting into... Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be easy to argue against, but yeah. It's all right. Running troll arguments, sometimes you can learn from them.
Yeah, I actually don't think this is modus.
Yeah, modus ponens just follows the form of P then Q, P therefore Q. So if you have a modus ponens syllogism, if it's strictly a syllogism then you can just say, really the only premise you really need to work on is P1, and then P2 just affirms P1, and then conclusion is just follows from P1 leading to P2.
Yeah, but I guess in this case it's kind of weird. It's not really like formally outlined though. It says it's a formal syllogism, but it's actually not.
That's why I'm asking for the inference rule. Yeah, I mean, it could be like, it could use just some other inference rule, or it could just use like an undisclosed inference rule, as opposed to like one of the commonly used ones, which is fine. I just was curious as to which one it uses, and then just gonna challenge premise one because it's got some presuppositions in it.
Yeah. Wait, it sounds like it's contingent. It says don't say it's contingent view. It says for P1 it says to possess moral patiency, which is just personhood. It says an entity X must be capable of instantiating mental states.
What's the argument that personhood equates to moral patiency? We need semantic reductions on these things.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what someone would say for something like that.
Just, you know what, we should cut it here. I think we're kind of hijacking live, but I would absolutely eviscerate that argument if I could get just you know, that argument would go up in flames.
Yeah, it's such a shitty argument for what it is, but it's supposed to be at high tier. Like, bro, there's no way it's that.
No, that's pretty low tier. I mean, it's okay. Maybe I should amend my language here. I guess you could kind of say in a way that it's mid-tier because most quote-unquote actual low tiers wouldn't even be able to contend with those premises. Like, they wouldn't even know what you're talking about. Right?
I didn't know what you were talking about. I'm not even going to lie.
Well, long story short, the argument's dog shit, and don't run it.
Oh, hell no, I'm not running this. I'm pro-life, by the way.
Yeah, he's pro-life. He's got really big muscles, too.
Barely. But serendipity has a pretty big muscle, too, but I won't tell you it's located.
Yep. It doesn't really do too much for the conversation. Have to justify consenting sex cases because that's going to be.
Welcome everyone on a perfect night for football with the floodlights beaming down.
Yeah, the smartest minds
My
aren't.
name is Derek Ray, and joining me for commentary is Stuart Robson.
The mother's unaliving. The only way to say the mother is by abortion and say the mother. Again, compatible under both views. Pro-life and pro-choice. I agree with both of those. Doesn't really do anything. Like, you have to present something that is not compatible with both sides. What's good, Malachi? What's up?
And to look at the starting 11 for the Hurricanes.
And then hold the responsibility.
The 4-4-2 system relies on good combinations all over the pitch. The front two, the central midfield pairing.
Save the tree, not the apple.
The centre backs. If you can get these combinations right, you'll have a good team.
And the starting 11 for the Seleção Canarinho.
They have nothing to say, bro. Trying to stay away from the drama and the kids that could do it. Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't know if you were here, but when I was first hosting, there were so many people going to my lives for drama, and I just said fuck that. I just don't care. I know. What if we did get rid of the divorce, though? Vincent Man can't make one. He has no rights. And create one. Wait, why not? Why can't I tell women not to kill their babies? Is there an argument for that?
And that is offside.
If there was a 1-year-old, and I said, "Hey, you can't unalive your 1-year-old," should I not be able to say that just because I didn't create the 1-year-old? That seems kind of false.
Now the Hurricanes could be onto something. Opportunity here. Oh, a magnificent challenge.
Yeah, super stuff there.
That's a pivot? Pivot from what?
Could be in here.
I was aware of that. I just want an argument. Don't worry, a woman will never touch you. Okay. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if we can criticize Casey Anthony. For people who don't know who that is, they'll let her child rot to death. I don't know if we can criticize her.
Well, she poisoned her. She did more than that.
Nicolas Lopez. Oh, nice ball.
And pro-lifers are pro-gun, which is ironic.
Because it has nothing to do with since guns are the biggest killer of children. Well, that's false. The biggest killer of children is abortion. It's like not even close.
And space to cross it.
Yeah, but they don't understand that. Like, if they could, like, these laws that they have that allow them to even have access to abortion is because men were speaking out in favor of them. So I think.
Not to mention that, like, the stats are, like, completely inflated. So they're trying to say, well, guns are the largest killer of children. So, number one, most children are killed by guns from accidental usage. Like, they go inside, like, the parents, like, safe, and they, accidentally shoot themselves, the most common type. And then there's suicide, unfortunately.
Well, that's as good a challenge as you're likely to see. Oh, that was spot on, wasn't
I
it?
never understand that, like, men shouldn't speak on it. It's like, men are the reasons you even have that right in the first place. So.
The Seleção recovering possession well. Barnes! And collected with considerable ease.
I know, right? It's still pretty bad.
And it's opening up.
Like, I just never understood that. Like, it's one, it's sexist, and two, it goes against your cause. It's just really dumb.
Have the confidence to
Like,
take
let's,
it
like,
on.
discriminate against the gender that's actually helping us have abortion rates. It's, like, the dumbest shit ever.
The first half here comes to an end.
I don't even know how it would feel if I was, like, pro-choice and a man, and then, like, all the women were saying,
And the ball
they
is
shouldn't
rolling
speak out
again
against it. How's that
after
literally
what was a
helping?
fantastic first
That seems
45
insane.
from Hurricanes.
I think that should instantly make you pro-life, because anyone lives up to
If you're pro-choice, come on up.
Still not clear. Of a disappointing dead end.
Well, as those stats tell us, their attacking play today...
And everyone had a choice. Okay, well, a lot of them did. In fact, most of them did. Most of them voluntarily engaged in that choice. And they're like, you know what? I could get a kid from this, but I'd rather have sex. Even if, it's the case that a child can come to existence. I don't really care. I'll still consent to sex. And then they have, the child, and then they kill it. Under my view, that seems obviously immoral, but if you disagree, you can convince me otherwise. But I don't know, I think the pro-choice arguments aren't very good.
Yeah, just stopped it in its tracks there.
John Barnes. Ikoma Luis Openda. Determined defending. And so 30 minutes left for play.
I did. I invited them.
And defensive
If they don't come up this time, I think they're just rage baiting. This is like the third or fourth time I've invited them.
Well, the ball just keeps...
Okay, yeah, they're rage baiting. Okay, here we go. Okay, they're like him.
Always likely to be given as a foul.
Age, please.
No, not the best
50.
challenge.
You're 50? Okay, are you pro-life or pro-choice?
Yeah, very nearly, but the goalkeeper had it covered. It wasn't really a great effort.
It's a pro-choice. Like, I really appreciate your life. So, like, there's no hate, there's no fight and stuff. But I just want to, like, bring some points up with you. Is that, basically, usually I'll be pro-life because I was grown up as a Christian. But the thing is that you gotta think about it. Like, if your daughter was raped great, I don't want to get into trouble with that. If your daughter was raped, would you really keep the child, or would you disappoint it?
I could say no, but that doesn't justify, like, 99% of abortions. So,
Okay.
you have to justify, like, 99% of them, bro.
The next one I would like to say is that, like, what state do you live in?
I'm not telling you what state I live in. Do you have an argument?
No, I'm not trying to hunt you down. because it's very.
Okay, then don't ask me where I live. Then don't ask me where I live. That's kind of weird. So do you have an argument? One, do you have an argument for the majority of abortions being justified?
Well, the reason why I'm asking is because it depends on the state that you live in. Because if you live in like a real cheap state, like for example, Texas, for example, it's like, okay, you could have the child and then run off of child support, there's no problem. But if you live in like some place like Hawaii, New York, California, it's like child support is not going to cover whatsoever. You're going to struggle and you're going to fall. So sometimes, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes when it comes to like abortion, it's like, you know, sometimes like young couples, they're gonna do the stupid thing. Like it's not like back in the 80s and such. You know, it's something like stupid, or you know, you can have a baby and still supposedly survive. In this economy nowadays, we won't be in certain states you're not going to be able to survive off of the economy, the way the economy is right now. The wages and such.
Okay, are you done?
Yes, continue.
Okay, yeah, I would like an argument for why, in a standard case of abortion, healthy mother, healthy baby, consensual sex, why it's morally permissible to kill your unborn child. Do you have an argument for that proposition? Yes or no?
Yes, I do. Basically,
let's hear
it. If you have like let's just say like a 15, couple 15-year-olds,
dude, stop. You really got to think about that one. You really got to think about that one at 15 years old.
I'm totally unsure where you're from, but it's like in
15-year-olds consent. Where are you from? Can you answer the question?
Wait, are you trying to say like a older person, younger person, or you trying to say,
dude? Can 15-year-olds consent? This is not a trick question, bro. Are we serious?
If two intermediate kids make love and then they have a child.
Which, by the way, in those states it is considered rape. Yes.
Okay, and it's a yes or no. 15-year-olds consent, yes or no?
To be honest, it's you don't need to consent because basically you're both underage, correct?
Holy shit! Can you answer the question? It's yes, they can consent. No, they can't.
I'm not answering the question.
Here's your options. You can either pick one or two. One equals yes, two equals no. Can 15-year-olds consent? One is yes, two is no.
Okay, consent to what? Are you saying consent to sex? No, they can't.
Great. So 15-year-olds can consent to sex. So do you remember when I said when two people consent to sex? Do you remember that part?
Well, two people consent to sex, but the thing is that okay, that your daughter has a bright future ahead of them, or their son has a very bright future ahead of them. Would you like that to really aid them?
Okay, so you agree that I said when you consent to sex. So do you have an argument when people are consenting to sex with abortions?
It depends on the state and the laws that there is on sexual consent.
Holy shit.
What I'm trying to say is that you're talking about your youth. I don't know how old are you, bro?
Well, you were legally irrelevant. I'm 50, though. Oh, that's for sure.
Okay. Yeah, irrelevant. So basically, you might be like a 16-year-old running this fucking show.
No, that's not my signature. Okay, so I'm still not clear what justifies abortion. Without the law, it's a plea to legality, which is a fallacy. So, you have
any justification. If that doesn't...
And good evening on what is a perfect night for football. The floodlights shining down on the players as we speak. I'm Derek
Why is he bringing up if I had a daughter
as always,
pregnant?
is
Do you
Stuart
have an
Robson.
argument yesterday?
And every reason to believe we're in for
So
an
you're
entertaining
scared of
match
this
here.
question?
It's the
That's basically what we're trying to
and
say.
they take on Team of the
Yes.
Year.
Yeah, I'm terrified of the question, but it has nothing to do with you giving
son that came up and told you, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, that wasn't the most explosive shot, was it?
Yeah, dude, you got me, bro. I'm super terrified of you asking me a question. I've asked you for an argument for like the past like 5 minutes. And I haven't got it. Yeah, that's it. Can you give an argument?
And here's the lineup for Team of the Year. Ederson stands between the posts. Xavi starts alongside Piotr Zielinski in central midfield. And the striker today is Dimitar Berbatov.
You know, sometimes abortion is needed in this day and age. That's why I was asking you what's
You're 50. That's his sports. You're 50.
If you live in a super cheap state, yeah, it's totally fine. But then you live in an expensive state, and then you also gotta think about the child. The child. When young kids have children, when young kids,
is this guy actually this dumb at 50? Why do you keep bringing up children when this has been addressed over and over and over again? We're talking about when people consent.
Well, let's say this, young ladies.
The Team of the Year pushing forward with options available.
Kids at an early age.
Nothing comes
I'm
of it.
pretty sure it happens. Think about it.
Bro, you're 50.
And he has options available.
Ass I've ever popped.
I'm the dumb one. Yo, Link, we're not talking about minors. Oh, by the way, let me just bring up minors again for the 5th time. But you're the dumb one.
Yeah. Go, bring it up.
Nicolas Lopez.
That would be you. You're bringing it up, like, over and over and over again.
No, I'm just saying that, I mean, mistakes, there's a lot of things that get corrected early.
Do you like bringing up minors? Like, so, like, what you're into? You're just, like, constantly keep bringing that up.
It really sounds
No one latched onto it.
Okay, but I'll continue with since you don't want to touch that topic, since you're so fearful and uninformed about it, okay, when older people, if you're great,
to the defending.
you don't suggest to have an abortion. You're going to keep that bloodline void of an abusive person.
Can grave victim? Can a grave victim consent?
Your opponent?
Can a grave victim consent?
A grave victim?
A great victim. Can a great victim consent?
Magnificent.
They can't consent if they're freaking pushing the corner and it is done to them.
So, if someone is great, they are consenting.
That was how you mentioned two consenting adults in the very beginning.
Great. So great victims can't consent. So that has nothing to do with what I asked again. So do you remember when I said for like the 5th time, when 2 adults consent? Thank you for the galaxy. Holy shit. When 2 adults consent to sex. Thank you for the galaxy. Say it like 3 times. Just say it like 3 times. Maybe like so you can understand. When 2 adults consent to sex, when 2 adults consent to sex, when 2 adults consent to sex. Do you have an argument?
That makes it difficult now.
Well, when it comes to 2 adults consent to sex, honestly, if the woman is not interested and you are looking at the best interest of the children, you have no choice. As a male, you have no choice.
The best interest in the child when you kill them. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
This guy cannot lose. He's 50, bro. He's 50.
Corner awarded.
It's just like the guy's age or something going on there. It's just...
So what we're going to do is we're going to continue adding on to our welfare system. Continue adding on to our welfare system in our foster care system.
It doesn't follow.
With this BS.
It doesn't follow.
That's why I started out in the beginning. It's like, I believed in it back then, but the thing is an age now. It doesn't
follow.
So back in business here, and fair to say the Team of the Year didn't live up to their billing in the first half. Will we see a response from them now?
If you have the money to adopt, you wouldn't be on welfare. Clearly, people who have money are not on welfare.
Well, good run.
They would reject you for being on welfare because you make too much sense.
So you asked me a question. Why do you believe abortion is not right?
Now, options are plenty.
Can I get an argument, please?
But quick thinking defensively.
So, like I was saying, now I can't get an argument. Like if you were, bro, you were fucking clown, bro. Man, I'll tell you something right now.
He read the situation defensively and did his job.
Business in this fucking industry. Wow. Are you talking about construction right now? Well, it's not the business very much. It's fucking engaged because honestly, you gotta understand that the woman is the one that has to pull it out. I'm dead, bro. I'm so dead.
Mullenstein.
Yeah, you don't belong in the industry. You're not an A actor, man. You're a C tier actor.
Good work from the Hurricanes to win back possession.
Mega clown, that's what you are, bro. Well, mega clown.
Around him.
I mean, and that would be an industry, but we're not going to have the crime industry, so.
Well, just the tackle that was needed.
Yes, you guys are.
Team of the year finding space on the flank.
Is great. They deserve to.
Factory reset. Back to factory reset. Back to factory reset.
If children have.
Back to factory reset.
They deserve to have.
Back to factory reset.
In this day and age, especially with this economy.
Back to factory reset.
And with the system overloading in the foster care system.
Back to factory reset.
If the relationship's not going to work out, you got to think about the children first.
Could be dangerous.
Fucking immature plan.
Oh, the threat is there. Well, just narrowly wide of the post that time.
Well, those stats back up what we've been watching. It's been a really one-sided game. And it's
so,
far too easy for them to open up this defense. This could turn into
That's
a
my
rout.
argument. What's your response, bro? Wait, what was the first premise? Premise one. You're a premise two, stay out of the industry. Conclusion, promotions are okay. That's why
Yeah, he looked so imposing there, didn't he? Great save.
hide behind.
Why are they obligated to tell you where people live?
So you
Pressure kept high.
50 times around the same now. So you believe that basically if a woman is raped, you don't believe.
You never made that claim.
You don't believe they deserve abortion. Pro-lifers can grant that exception. Pro-lifers can also grant the exception of children. That's what I said for unironically 8 or 9 times.
And support
for
available.
When they consent. That's where we're going to have the disagreement. That's where pro-lifers can't agree with you. But I know it's going to go in your brain, in one ear and out the other, and you're going to forget it's a 10th time. But, yeah, just hopefully you understand this time. We're just talking.
And on to Bellator.
But you do know it's the women's choice, correct? Why?
Why should they be allowed it? Why should they be allowed it? Why should they?
Do they have to go through the entire...
We know that. We know that, so why...
Contractions? Do they have to go through the fucking painful childbirth?
And now Zielinski.
I mean, yeah, they should have killed their kid, yeah. You have an argument for why they can't.
Marcelo. And there it is, the final
if it's at an early enough stage, it should be.
Why?
Because you gotta think about the children. Yeah, the children are have you ever experienced there? Like some of the children in broken families.
Can you just answer the question?
In abusive families that are totally broken. Yeah, can we analyze them? Yeah, can we analyze them?
to take their lives. Yeah, it's a head scratcher right now.
No, it's not a head scratcher.
Man, we're going to have to think about that one. Yeah, can we have only born children?
Fernandez
Yes
Torres.
or no?
What?
You only have children if you're ready and you're willing. That's basically it. Are you a parent yourself, or you won't answer that question yourself? Have you
Wait, when I get a restriction. When I get a restriction.
Have you ever had have you ever had children? Are you a parent yourself?
Yeah, I've had like 6 or 7 kids. Can you maybe give it a little? Thanks for the gifts. They should follow. Wow, the gifting is going crazy. Thank you, Caleb, for the gift. I mean, I didn't get an answer to my question, by the way. Have you gotten an answer to any questions? This is an answer to any questions.
Your answer's fine.
Oh, wait. Have I answered any of his questions?
Yeah, every single one. Right?
Yeah, I've answered all of your questions. You haven't answered a single one. So I should just continue to answer your questions while you don't answer any of mine. Holy shit, thank you for the galaxy. Oh my gosh, thank you. Oh, that was the cake now. Okay.
To you because one, you answered my question.
So, I guess I'm looking for an argument in favor of abolitionism or pro-life, so that we could maybe discuss that.
Right, it's in the Declaration of Independence. You have to uphold the right to life for there to be a government at all, or you get to alter or abolish the government.
That's not an argument, Trump. You do something. Those are the...
Oh,
I'll cheat. I just want to clarify. I just want to clarify.
Josh. Oh boy.
wet wipes case.
Say that again, Josh.
I have very slow center backs. Actually, very slow. This should be a sign of you're going to get cooked. If you have, because it's about speed. If you have slow pace, which is speed, that's probably one of the most important statistics. If your players are slow, you are destroyed. Well, I kind of need that 4,000. That's a lot. Ooh, I need that. I have to grind to do that. Okay, you're not gonna win, obviously, but I need 4,000. That's a lot of freaking special points.
Unbelievable, but true. When a tooth is When a cavity appears, it is not just a small hole. It is an active infection, and it is full of microorganisms that continue to destroy the tooth. In the video that you will see below, an experiment is done. They gently touch the infected area with a sterile cotton ball. Then the sample is observed under a microscope, and this is what was found. That bacteria moving inside the cavity are active, multiplying and destroying tissue. That is why it is so important to treat a cavity in time. It does not disappear on its own, and what you do not see can harm you. That is why it is so important. I really hope there weren't many people out there that thought this was real. It's very entertaining, but again, it's fake. This video here shows a group of hyenas surrounding a giraffe. It looks like it's doomed. One of the hyenas makes a move. Giraffe then picks the hyena up with its mouth, flings it around, brings it over to this water hole, where a hungry crocodile takes it from there, consuming the hyena. Now, first things first, hyenas actually do prey on giraffes sometimes, but it's very circumstantial. Typically, they're only going to go after a giraffe that's young, old, or injured, something that's an easy target. Reason being, a kick from a full-grown, healthy giraffe can be lethal for a hyena, so it's really not worth the fight to potentially lose a member of their pack. This is an AI video, of course.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this fine evening.
People are completely convinced that Michael Jackson is still alive, and here's...
From a packed stadium.
You guys buy game consoles here? Yeah. The LGBT week. It's got everything to it. It is a limited edition, of course. They didn't make too many of these. I'm sure it's scams.
Too rare. GameStop didn't even know about it because it really wanted that green thing. that's where he wants. He actually needs to keep out first.
Good position here on the right flank.
It is kind of position, kind of coordination.
Fantastic piece of defender. The great save it out goes for the corner.
In front of you is double the kill. That's right. 1,000 soldiers from armies of Plastic. Who's winning now, Plastic Commander? All jokes aside, go check out another great YouTuber, the Plastic Commander, who inspired but also challenged me to make this video. Now today I'll be reviewing 22 of the Armies of Plastic mystery packs. I bought 6 different sets as shown on the screen, which come with random figures from all of their sets. Some of them have other items that you'll see later. At the time of this recording, Armies of Plastic just released a new 125 figure count mystery pack. The link to purchase these sets will be in the description below. I bought 2 of the number 4 packs, 2 of the number 3 packs, 3 of the number 6 packs, 3 of the number 2 packs, 2 of the number 5 packs, and finally 10 of the number 1 packs. Here we go, starting with number 1.
What?
The idea was the right one. And the keeper gets us going again.
I was trying to do a lob pass into that.
Really failed their defense out with that save. How have they saved it? And they've saved the team
number
with that
2.
one. They got the ball back.
Number 3.
Beautiful place to get the ball back. Now it's a good effort, buddy. How about hitting the books now?
Number 4.
And the keeper's happy to get the ball rolling again.
Number 5.
Back to the middle.
And number 6.
They're just waiting for a defender to bite. It's a great interception. On the halfway point.
What a mountain of plastic back there. Here's a closer look at the figures lined up by color. After counting all the soldiers, I actually received 37 extras. All but one of the 50 soldier packs came with over 50 soldiers. The average was about 51.8 soldiers per pack. The other packs also came with 1 or 2 extra soldiers on average as well, which I thought was pretty interesting. The variety among the 50-piece bags was not bad. On average, each bag had 36 different sculpts, which would make about 14 duplicates. Sometimes the duplicates were officers, and others were infantrymen, which is okay. There are 29 different colors here, with some sets having multiple colors. Alright, let's get a closer look at the factions. First up is the American Revolution. Here are the infantrymen, 3 colors.
High spot to regain possession. That's a great scoring chance.
I also received way too many colors and no opportunity.
They're ahead now. How important could that be for them?
I'm missing 4 key poses of the infantry. Got way too many officers. Also, despite receiving an army of criminals, there's still 1 pose that I have. There's 2 of the Woodland Indian sets. I got 5 Native Americans from Settlement. Missing 4 of the poses from that set. Next we have the Napoleonic War sets. This is the main infantry set, which has many colors.
And they never look like this in that one.
And then we have some Russian infantry.
They back up the way.
Here's some British infantry.
And the attack's back on.
And some lancers.
Beautifully done by the goalie.
I was able to get every pose for the main infantry set, but not in one single pose. A bulk of the figures were the officers and generals, which should have been flipped with the standing and firing soldiers. On screen, you can see the British infantry set. and I'm missing these 4 roses. Similarly, with the Prussian infantry, I'm missing 5 roses. Finally, I'm missing the guy in the middle, building a sword. Here are 3 Russian soldiers which have been used for various periods of war. And here's the Russian/Prussian militia army. As you can see, I do have a full set of the militia army in both blue and white. I'm missing 9 of the Russian army roses. These are 2 Russian Cossacks, and I'm missing 2 of the other roses.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was truly unlucky. Quick ball out, we're moving it.
There's multiple American Civil War sets, starting with the Union Supplies, then the generic infantry set. You can see there's 1 Union crew member. Next is the Union Iron Brigade.
Great challenge. And out the opponent
and the Confederate infantry set.
Corner straight into the box. That's a real wasted opportunity. No time wasted, and we're back underway here.
I'm missing 7 of the Zouaves, 8 of the infantry set, 4 crew members, 5 of the Iron Brigade, and 5 of the Confederate infantry units. If you know what set these white officers come from, please tell me, because I could not find them on the website. But they do have the British uniforms. Next are the British soldiers with their sleeves rolled up. And then here's the default British army from the late 19th century.
Are you serious?
We're back underway.
Along with the Scottish Highlanders.
This could be a good one.
This is 1 cavalry man, and I missed filming it. You'll see here in a second. I got a complete set of the green rolled-up sleeves British soldiers, but wish they were in khaki brown to match the default. I'm also missing 5 of the British Army soldiers, 8 Scottish Highlanders, and 3 Royal Navy Rifles. Here's the other cavalry soldier, and I'm missing 2 others.
This is the exact endpoint of the tooth during the root from treatment, so that he can clean the entire tooth from this infected cavity. As on the ground, the top of the tooth is visible and can be cleaned out using the tooth. But most of the roots are not visible at all, and are deep inside the bone and gum. So how to find out the exact tooth head? They actually use a device called the apex locator, which connects the tooth with this small file, which is posted inside the roots, and the device is connected. The device tracks the entire position of the file inside the roots